There have been some really good Stanley Cup Finals recently. I mean, that 2019 series between the Blues and the Bruins was awesome. Avs and Lightning in 2022 was also a really fun watch. To be honest with you though, this is easily the most excited I've been for a Stanley Cup Final since at least Montreal in 2021 or Ovi in 2018. It surpasses both of those for me, and not even because I'm cheering hard for one of the teams. I mean, there's a lot of Flames fans who are hurting right now. They get Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett on one side and the Oilers on the other, and despite Boston Pizza trying their hardest to get everybody to cheer for the lone Canadian team, down to them straight up planting fake green men, white out, and fake dark guy together in Edmonton. Literally the same people from the commercial were in the arena sitting all together. What a coincidence. It's going to be interesting to see how many people in Canada, especially in Vancouver and Calgary, actually end up cheering for the Oilers in this one, because I definitely don't think everyone is, and I'm pretty sure Oiler fans are totally fine with that. They don't care. I'm straight up cheering for a long, entertaining series, though. That's what I want. You've got McDavid and Draisaitl in their first ever Cup Final. You've got Matthew Tkachuk heading back to Edmonton. It's going to be the first time he plays more than one game a year there since he was a Flame. In a Cup Final environment, his reception alone in Edmonton is going to be must-watch TV. What's the over-under on how many times Oiler fans say Turtle Chuck that day, or is that old news? Please give me 7 games of this. And I know some people on TSN and whatnot were complaining that the Cup is being handed out too late in the year. Me personally, I love it. I mean, there's so much downtime, especially in July and August, where you get just nothing from hockey. Not even for content purposes, but just as a fan, I love having meaningful hockey to watch later in June, and then it's less of a gap until the draft comes around and then free agency right after. I understand that people in traditional hockey media might want a bit more of a break than that. I get it, and look, it would be far from the end of the world if the Cup was ended out end of May and the season started earlier. But selfishly, I think it's kind of cool, and look, I know there was different circumstances given what was happening in the world for the Cup to be handed out in July in 2021 and in September in 2020, the bubble. But in a quote-unquote normal year, I honestly don't have a problem with this type of Stanley Cup Final schedule. And I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but another thing that really excites me about this series is that it's going to be pretty much a rat-off. You've got Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and I know Nick Cousins hasn't been playing, but if he gets in, you've got a trifecta right there, and then Corey Perry and Evander Kane on the other side, although I know Kane got hurt yesterday. Look, they're both trying to win a cup. They're not going to be doing rat stuff the whole time, but the game within the game between these two teams is going to make it even more entertaining. The only one missing is Brad Marchand, then it would just be like a rat overload. Then you've got the big storylines heading into this one. 200 days ago, the Oilers were last place in the whole league, and now they've made it to the final two. Their season still isn't over. Then you've got the Panthers, who are in their second straight final, trying to win the first cup in their history. How different are they going to be from the 5-gamer against Vegas last year? And then, probably the one that fascinates me the most, every time you get a huge superstar in the final, Crosby, Ovechkin, McKinnon, the question of their legacy always seems to get brought up. How does this cup final affect their legacy? Well, Connor McDavid is constantly getting compared to guys like Crosby and Gretzky. He has since even before he was drafted. Well, after 9 years, many of them long and painful or short and painful, he's finally in a Stanley Cup final. And you look at how he scores that goal yesterday to put the Oilers up 1-0. That was a signature moment and was definitely the biggest game of his career up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve in his first ever Stanley Cup final? Because that's going to have a massive effect on his legacy. And a similar thing goes for Tkachuk. I mean, the narrative around lost one, won one is a lot different than lost 2 in a row, even with the big injury that hampered him in last year's final. Also, I can't wait for those Paul Maurice press conferences. We'll be talking about these two teams throughout the week, and probably some other teams mixed in there too. Saturday's gonna be something. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.